The adventure begins with a young boy named Benjamin. While searching through his grandfather's storeroom, Benjamin, who loved discovering new things, was digging through old objects. Though he hadn't found anything useful yet, his grandfather soon walked in. His grandfather adored him deeply, but now felt the time had come to reveal a long-kept family secret. He told Benjamin about a royal treasure hidden by their ancestors centuries ago, a treasure worth trillions, so immense that no human could ever truly imagine its value. Back in those days, Benjamin's ancestors had served in the army, but when their forces were attacked, they were forced to hide the treasure away. To ensure future generations could one day find it, they left behind clues scattered in secret places. According to his grandfather, if someone valued that treasure today, the numbers would run out long before the fortune did, it was that vast. His grandfather then handed him an old piece of paper passed down from his father. On it was a clue: the secret lies with Scarlet. His grandfather had spent his entire life chasing its meaning but never succeeded. Now it was Benjamin's turn to continue the search. Excited, Benjamin clutched the paper, but just then his father entered. Unlike the grandfather, Benjamin's father had no faith in such legends. He believed his father had wasted his life chasing after a worthless dream and strictly warned Benjamin not to get lost in the same obsession. Instead, he urged his son to focus on building a better life. Yet, deep down, Benjamin believed his grandfather's words. Something inside him connected with the mystery of the treasure, and he knew one day he would search for it. Time passed, and years later, Benjamin had grown into a determined young man. With his companions, he traveled to the Antarctic Circle, following a clue tied to the phrase, "The secret lies with Scarlet." His research had led him to discover that centuries ago, a ship named Scarlet had sunk in those icy waters. Convinced this wreck held answers, Benjamin gathered his resources and set out on the dangerous expedition. Eventually, he and his team reached the sunken remains of the ship. Inside, they found old military supplies and ammunition, relics of a forgotten age. While investigating, Benjamin discovered a frozen corpse clutching a box. Inside the box lay a strange artifact, carved with symbols and scripts from ancient languages no one could easily understand. The freezing conditions made it even harder to decipher. Determined, Benjamin used a drop of his own blood to reveal the inscriptions and transferred them onto paper. Together, the team, skilled researchers with some knowledge of ancient scripts, began piecing together the meaning. The writings pointed to a mysterious ancient object currently stored inside a national museum. If they could get their hands on that artifact, it would unlock a new clue, bringing them even closer to the treasure. But the problem was that the ancient object was housed inside the National Museum, guarded with the highest level of security. Benjamin's companion, Ian, immediately suggested they should break in and steal it. Benjamin, however, refused to take that path. He wanted to find the treasure, yes, but legally and with honor. Ian, on the other hand, had no such morals. Secretly tied to a gangster group, he was determined to obtain the treasure by any means necessary, even if it meant taking the wrong road. This difference of ideals sparked a conflict between Benjamin and Ian. As tempers rose, Ian suddenly pulled out a gun and pointed it at Benjamin, ready to kill his own friend. Shocked and desperate, Benjamin grabbed a burning torch and threatened to throw it into the piles of ammunition stacked inside the ship. Everyone knew that a single spark would blow the entire wreck apart. For a tense moment, the two stared each other down, both armed with the power to end the other. Benjamin tossed the burning stick toward Ian. Though Ian managed to catch it, he fumbled, and it slipped to the floor. Within seconds, the ammunition ignited, and the ship began to erupt in explosions. Ian fled with his men, sealing the doors behind him, certain Benjamin would perish in the blast. But Benjamin and his loyal friend Max managed to find a hidden chamber to shield themselves just as the wreck was consumed by fire. Outside, Ian climbed into his vehicle, convinced Benjamin was dead. But against all odds, Benjamin and Max emerged alive. Shaken but unharmed, Benjamin knew exactly what Ian's next move would be. He was going after the artifact in the museum. And Benjamin could never allow the nation's history to be desecrated in such a way. He immediately went to the FBI and revealed everything about Ian, including his criminal background and his plan to steal the artifact. But without evidence, the agents dismissed his warnings. To them, it was nothing more than a wild story. Frustrated, Benjamin pulled every string he could and finally managed to secure a private meeting with an FBI officer named Abigail. With Max at his side, he explained everything once again: Ian's criminal ties, the object he planned to steal, and the danger it posed. Abigail listened but remained skeptical. Like every law enforcement officer, she demanded proof before taking action. Without evidence, she warned, not only would they be unable to intervene, but Benjamin himself could face punishment for wasting government resources with false alarms. Discouraged, Benjamin and Max left the meeting and sat outside in despair. Time was slipping away, and if Ian got to the artifact first, nothing would stop him from reaching the treasure. It was then that Max proposed a daring idea: what if we steal the artifact first? By taking it before Ian, they would keep it safe and also use it to unlock the next clue. Benjamin hesitated but knew it was their only chance. He agreed. Together, he and Max began planning the impossible, breaking into the heavily guarded National Museum. Their opportunity came sooner than expected. That very night, the museum was hosting a grand gala. That very night, Benjamin and Max set their plan into motion, to infiltrate the museum and steal the artifact before Ian could. Benjamin, though hesitant at first, agreed. Both of them prepared with precision, knowing this would be the most dangerous mission of their lives. The National Museum was alive with grandeur. A massive gala was underway, with distinguished guests admiring the ancient relics on display, unaware that a heist was unfolding in the shadows. Max had already slipped into the control room, where his technical skills came into play. With quick hands, he hacked into the surveillance system, replacing the live camera feeds with looped footage so that Benjamin could move undetected. Meanwhile, Benjamin blended in with the party crowd, his eyes subtly tracking Abigail, the FBI officer. Playing it smooth, he brought her a drink and lingered just long enough to collect her glass afterward. His true motive became clear: he needed her fingerprints. Since access to the vault required her clearance, the glass provided exactly what he needed. Following the plan, Benjamin made his way into the restricted chambers. The cameras showed nothing unusual thanks to Max, allowing him to slip deeper into the museum's hidden levels. Using Abigail's fingerprints, he unlocked the first secure door. But another obstacle awaited him, a keypad requiring a passcode he didn't know. Thinking fast, Benjamin dusted the keypad with a fine layer of powder to reveal faint smudges of fingerprints. With a small handheld device, he analyzed the worn keys and calculated the most likely combinations. After countless failed tries, one finally worked. The door clicked open. Inside was a hidden chamber containing priceless relics from the nation's history. Among them lay the object they had been searching for, a fragment of parchment, preserved within a reinforced glass case. Whatever secrets it carried, it was said to be the next step toward unlocking the treasure. Benjamin attempted to break open the glass, but the reinforced structure was too strong. Time slipping away, he made the decision to steal the entire frame with the artifact inside. But just as he turned to leave, he came face to face with Ian and his men. They too had arrived for the artifact. Gunfire erupted. Thinking quickly, Benjamin held the glass frame in front of him. It turned out to be bulletproof, shielding him as he bolted for the elevator. Bullets ricocheted around him, shattering the frame, but Benjamin managed to grab the parchment and hide it inside his jacket. As alarms blared throughout the museum, security forces scrambled into action. Abigail's sharp eyes caught sight of Benjamin moving suspiciously. Something about his behavior told her he was involved. She began tailing him through the chaos as FBI agents locked down the exits and began searching every guest. Benjamin, with the artifact hidden close to his chest, slipped into a nearby shop inside the museum in a desperate attempt to escape. Inside the shop, Benjamin noticed that there were several duplicates of the same ancient object. These were replicas kept for sale. That's when a plan struck him: he bought one of the fake copies. As he was leaving, Abigail suddenly appeared. She had seen that Benjamin was carrying the object and demanded it at all costs, since its security was her responsibility. If anything happened to it, she would be held accountable. Benjamin tried to reassure her, saying the object was safe with him. If it was returned to the museum, Ian and his men would easily steal it. But Abigail refused to believe him. She snatched the object from Benjamin and headed straight to the museum. Meanwhile, Ian and his gang were watching everything from below. They now knew the object was with Abigail, so his men ambushed her to steal it. In the chaos, they even tried to kidnap her. Max arrived with his van and quickly pulled Benjamin inside. But when they realized Abigail had been taken, Benjamin leapt onto the enemy's vehicle without hesitation, determined to save her. Abigail fought back, refusing to let go of the artifact. It was a priceless heritage of their nation. The speeding vehicles made everything more dangerous. Benjamin's first priority was saving Abigail. But during the struggle, Ian managed to snatch the object from her. Their mission seemed lost, and Ian escaped with his men. Benjamin pulled Abigail into the van. She was heartbroken, believing the artifact was gone forever. But at that very moment, Benjamin revealed the real object. The one Ian had stolen was only the fake he had purchased earlier from the shop. Relieved, Abigail listened as Benjamin explained how crucial this artifact was, and how following its clues would lead them to a vast hidden treasure. By now, Benjamin also suspected that the FBI was investigating him, so returning home was too risky. It was clear Abigail had now become part of Benjamin and Max's journey. She, too, wanted to discover where such an ancient and priceless treasure had been hidden for centuries. Benjamin decided they would seek refuge with his father, whose address the FBI didn't know, making it the safest option. The three of them arrived at his father's secluded home. There, Benjamin and his companions examined the parchment more closely, looking for hidden clues. When warm air was applied to the back of the paper, faint letters began to appear. These were puzzles, which Benjamin eagerly wrote down and started decoding. Being a researcher at heart, he loved solving such mysteries since childhood. Without delay, he began piecing the letters together. Some made sense, while others were completely unknown. His father explained that these writings were the work of Benjamin Franklin, the great writer and scientist, after whom he had named his son. Curious, Benjamin asked where they could find the missing letters needed to solve the puzzle. His father revealed that he once had them, but years ago, he donated them to a university for further study. That meant the unknown letters, holding the key to the treasure, were still preserved in a nearby institute's library. Without wasting any more time, Benjamin and his team set out for the institute. After negotiating with the management, they finally secured the letters. At the institute, they also met a young boy. He was extremely intelligent, with the highest IQ among them all. That boy helped Max and Benjamin combine the unknown letters to figure out a code. After hours of effort, they finally discovered a password that pointed toward an independent tower located right in the center of the city. This meant the next clue leading to the treasure could be found there. Without wasting any time, Benjamin, Max, and Abigail rushed to the tower, determined not to let anyone else reach it before them. Unfortunately, luck wasn't on their side. Ian had also made his way into the institute. Even though he only had a fake map, he was relentlessly tracking Benjamin and his team. Benjamin and his companions climbed to the very top of the tower and noticed the tower's shadow falling across a wall. Following the hint from the password, they examined that wall closely. On one of the bricks was a strange symbol. When Benjamin pulled it out, he found a pair of unusual glasses inside, with colorful lenses on both sides. They put on the glasses and looked at the ancient paper again. To their shock, drawings from a distant past appeared. As Benjamin examined them carefully, another clue was revealed, this time pointing directly to Trinity Church. The team now knew they had to go there to get closer to the treasure. But their problems only deepened, because Ian had already infiltrated the tower as well. Realizing this, Benjamin quickly handed the ancient paper to Max and Abigail and told them to head straight to Trinity Church, while he stayed behind to create a distraction. As Benjamin tried to make his escape, several FBI agents swarmed him and caught him red-handed. He was arrested and taken in for questioning. Meanwhile, as Max and Abigail carried the real ancient paper, Ian ambushed them and cunningly stole it. Now the priceless document was in Ian's possession, while poor Benjamin was under arrest. Abigail, desperate, called Ian and struck a deal. Both of them knew that even with the paper, deciphering the clues would be nearly impossible without the progress Benjamin's team had already made. Abigail convinced Ian that they could help him solve the riddles and reach the treasure, but only if he first freed Benjamin from FBI custody. Ian hesitated, but eventually agreed to the deal. That meant he would now be working with them. The FBI, on the other hand, interrogated Benjamin endlessly, pressing him for answers. Then, out of nowhere, they received a call from Ian himself. He told the agents that he had the real object in his possession, and if they wanted it, they would have to send Benjamin to the location he specified. Seeing this as a golden opportunity to recover the object and arrest Ian, the FBI transported Benjamin to a massive harbor, crowded with people and heavily guarded by agents. But suddenly, Benjamin bolted and dove straight into the water. FBI officers scrambled to track him, but underwater, Ian's men were waiting. They quickly provided Benjamin with oxygen and pulled him to safety, exactly as Ian had promised. Ian then handed Benjamin the real artifact and demanded his help in solving the clues to find the treasure. To make matters worse, Ian had also kidnapped Benjamin's father, leaving him with no choice but to cooperate. Following the next set of clues, the entire group finally reached Trinity Church. Once again, Benjamin used the strange glasses to examine the ancient paper. But this time, there didn't seem to be much left written on it, at least, not anything obvious. Inside Trinity Church, the group wasn't sure what to do next. That's when Benjamin adjusted one of the lenses on the special glasses, and suddenly more hidden letters appeared on the parchment. Among the words, he spotted the name of a parking lane, which he realized could be their next destination. As they kept uncovering clues, it felt like they were finally closing in on the treasure. But then they discovered the word parking actually referred to the name of a tomb inside the same church. The team headed down into the church's basement and pulled out the coffin. Beneath it, a hidden passage revealed itself, suggesting the treasure might be concealed further inside. One by one, they climbed down the old wooden stairs, but they were fragile and unstable. At one point, one of Ian's men fell when a step broke beneath him. The rest nearly slipped as well, but ropes saved them from falling. Benjamin and Riley rushed to help steady their teammates. After minutes of navigating downward, they arrived at a dead end. Frustrated and desperate for the treasure, Ian turned his gun on Benjamin, suspecting he was being misled. To protect his son, Benjamin's father stepped in. He explained that this place wasn't where the treasure was hidden, it was only another clue. He recalled that during ancient battles, soldiers used such underground chambers for shelter. Then he noticed a candle's reflection in a mirror, pointing toward another church, Boston's church, where the next clue supposedly awaited. Ian and his men, convinced, decided to head there, leaving Benjamin and his group behind. What they didn't know was that Benjamin's father had tricked them. The real treasure wasn't in Boston at all. It was right there. They only needed to find the final mechanism to open the path. Soon, they discovered a circular button with markings identical to an object Benjamin had found on a ship earlier. He placed the object into the slot, and instantly, a massive ancient door opened. Inside, the group was left speechless. Before them lay the treasure of their ancestors, enough gold and artifacts to wipe out global poverty. The chamber looked like a golden city, with endless wealth stacked in every direction. Benjamin lit an explosive to ignite torches around the room, revealing the staggering scale of the treasure. The team celebrated in awe, proud that their hard work had paid off. Before long, they found a way back out, but by then, FBI officers had already arrived. One officer confronted Benjamin, who confessed the treasure was directly beneath them. He agreed to turn it over to the government. However, the officer insisted someone had to be held accountable for the museum theft. Benjamin revealed Ian's location, and soon, the FBI raided Boston Church and captured Ian and his men. Months later, life had changed for everyone. Benjamin and Abigail had married, starting their life together. Riley teased Benjamin, asking why he accepted only 1% of the treasure when the government offered more. Benjamin explained that even that fraction was so vast it would last generations without running out. Now they all owned luxurious homes, expensive cars, and lived in wealth beyond imagination. Riley, too, was enjoying his new comfortable life. And that's where the story ends.